I start a live stream within a couple of seconds and it's already got thumbs up? That makes no sense to me. I don't know what's going on because it says literally I have no viewers. So why does it say two thumbs up? Is it like a good thing that no one's watching me? I don't know. This is weird. Anyway, hey guys, back to regular conversation time. So thank you if you watched my K-pop fanfiction After Dark. Hello. I am glad that people actually watched it, and I hope that it starts a conversation because I would like conversation about that because it is something I love. I'm done with the fanfiction talk, so
Okay.
you can listen to me now.
Yay!
Okay. My daughter had to put in headphones while I was having my previous conversation
Because she said it was adult.
I did say it was adult conversation, even though I fully acknowledge that teenagers read this fan fiction stuff
I
too.
don't.
And let me just say, I want to say this very clearly. I don't have a problem with teenagers reading fan fiction because I think it is a healthy way for teenagers to explore their sexuality without being exposed to STDs or other harmful behavior. Hello again. But what I do have a problem with is people not then engaging in conversations with their children about this stuff because things like non-con or having sex without contraception, that's stuff that needs to be talked about, and a lot of fan fiction doesn't address that at all. So if you're gonna read it, that's cool, but maybe ask some questions about what you're reading because a lot of the stuff in this fan fiction, just like most rap music, not safe to do in real life.
My mom teaches me a lot. She should be an OBGYN.
No, no, no.
She should be one of those people that works at the Planned Parenthood.
No, no,
That
absolutely
gives you
not.
like one of those pamphlets.
I know, no, no. It's one thing to talk to my own child about this. I'm not here for talking to other people's children because I would probably have several parents I would have to beat up for misguiding their kids. But regular conversation time. Regular conversation
You can
time.
teach your followers a health lesson.
No. No. Okay. Hello. So, first, I want to start regular conversation time by giving a huge congratulations to Tina Davidson. If you're not subscribed to Tina Davidson, I don't know why you're not. Tina Davidson is what I would consider the OG of hello again, the OG of YouTube. She has been doing it like no one has been doing it for years. She's been killing it. She's got literally hundreds of videos on her channel because she's been doing it so long. She unboxes practically everything. And before K Town for You was your favorite unboxing channel, she was the god of K-pop unboxing, literally. And on her channel today, she unboxed her silver play button. I know, right? Good job. We're so excited for her for having her silver play button because if anyone in the unboxing community has earned it, she has earned it. We've seen K-pop reaction channels get silver play buttons and gold play buttons and all the accolades and get invited to the K-cons and being talked about by everybody, but the unboxing community didn't have a structure the way that Tina Davidson gave us structure. I'm sorry, I was saying her name American style.
Davidson.
But yeah, when she introduced the way to unbox things, she literally created the blueprint. And there's nobody out here who hasn't at one time or another considered unboxing and thought about doing it the way she did it. Like we've all been there. We've all been like plain background, stationary camera, flip, 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 show the photo card at the end. Like, that's a thing that we all do. And that's because that's what she did. And we have Secret Santa every year, but it's also known as International K-Pop Unboxing Day. And it's known that because it happens on December 5th, and it's Tina Davidson's birthday. And it's a day that we try to encourage everybody to film an unboxing video, even if it's your very first unboxing video, even if you're not going to do one again until next year, even if it's something you've owned for forever and you just want to put it on your channel. We always encourage people to do International Unboxing Day because it is a honor to her for helping us to create this community, to give us a blueprint for how to do this thing, for being consistently amazing, and just being awesome. She's just a really awesome person. And so it's our way of saying thank you for creating a niche for us, creating a friendship community for us, and we honor you and the legacy that you've given to all of us. So that's the reason why I always, always, always promote December 5th, her birthday, International Unboxing Day. Please, please do it. If not for me, do it for her. But
You
congratulations.
just did the DNA test, turns out you're 100% that girl.
Not me, Tina Davidson, but yes,
Yeah, it was
she's 100%.
directed towards
Yes,
Tina.
she's 100% that girl. But so that was something we needed to talk about right off the bat because it's just so important to acknowledge her and give her her flowers and give her her accolades while she's able to receive them. Also, I wanted to talk about K-Town for You very briefly because they posted a video on their channel showing that they now have a physical store in Seoul. So that's really exciting. If you ever visit Seoul, you can actually go to the K-Town for You store. And gosh, who ever thought they'd see the day? A lot of people in the comment section were saying, I want you to open a store in the UK. I want you to open one in the Philippines. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I think it'd be an amazing idea if K-Town for You was to open a physical store in the Philippines. But they're probably not gonna do that right now. So no need of holding your breath for that. But it is amazing that their YouTube channel shows them opening their physical store because when K-Town for You first started their YouTube channel, they had one of the worst unboxing YouTube channels ever. They used to basically fly through an album. Like if you go to the K-Town for You channel and you go way, way back to the oldest videos, they would literally take the album and flip through it like you would a book, like, and you wouldn't hardly see any pictures. They would kind of like throw out the photo cards and like, this is what I got. And then it would have the worst, craziest background music in the background. Like the music never fit with the theme of the album. It was terrible. And then Jay, who is their current unboxer, he decided to listen to constructive criticism from the community and he changed the way they did things. He made it to where it was a slower unboxing. It was an unboxing that showed you every picture in the item. It was an unboxing that showed you the front and the back of a photo card. It was an unboxing with background music that actually made sense with what it was you were unboxing. And then they started doing features that no one else was doing. They started translating what was written on the back of the photo card they were receiving, which no one was really doing that. And they would also list kind of the features of it. So I think that they were one of the first ones who in print on the screen would write 1 card out of 4 cards or, 1 version out of 3 versions, stuff like that. And then they were also making sure that they did every version and they would tell you the name of every version. So Jay has worked really hard to upgrade the level of unboxing you get on K-Town for You's channel. And for that, I say thank you because even though I still feel a little bitterness over the way K-Town for You handled their relationship with Tina Davidson and how that whole sponsorship thing unraveled for them, at the same time, I'm glad that there is one reliable place that fans can go whenever there's a new K-pop release and they could be like, okay, I can see what it looks like before I order it. And they're going to unbox everybody. Like, there's very few artists that they don't unbox outside of like K-hip hop, K-indie, that kind of stuff. But they unbox artists from virtually every label, virtually every type of group. It's not about, I'm a fan of this and that's why I'm unboxing. And that is the thing that probably is so key about them is much like Tina Davidson, they seem to be fairly neutral when it comes to who they unbox. Yes, they have favorites because they're human beings. We all have favorites. But yeah, whereas when you watch my channel, you don't expect to see a Twice album on my channel. When I watch their channel, I expect to see virtually anything on their channel. And for that reason, I think it's a great resource for our community and I'm glad that they exist. I'm glad that they've upgraded the way that they do their videos. And, I'm just glad that that's there for you guys for when you're making your shopping decisions. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So now that I've talked about that, this is the part of the video where you all are going to unsubscribe from me because I'm about to say something that is going to get me wild dislikes. So I need to make sure I say it right now. I'm not a fan of chicken noodle soup.
Ooh,
Listen, you don't have to encourage people to be mean.
Oh, she went there.
Hey, you shush up, instigator. I'm not a fan of chicken noodle soup. I'm not a fan of chicken noodle soup. Number one, because I wasn't actually a fan of. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I wasn't a fan of the original, really. I liked the song, Now Let It Rain and Clear It Out. I used to know that song, like, because that song came out 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I was 25. So
Look at you giving out your age.
they know I'm 40. 15 years ago, I was 25. So yeah, I knew chicken noodle soup. Chicken noodle soup with a soda on the side. I knew that song. I've known that song. But I was also 25. Remember this. I was 25. And this was like a kid style song to me. So while I knew like the dance and everything, I wasn't going around dancing and singing this song because it was like a kid's song. It's kind that song. When I think of that song, I think of it the same way I think about like Soldier Boy Tell 'em, the same way I think of, Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay. A lot of these like I won't say one hit wonder, but definitely like songs associated with dancing type of songs. And so because of that, it was one of those songs that in my mind was like, oh, that's okay, but the radio overplays it. It's a little bit annoying. Not really my thing. I like music that has a little bit more substance to it. So, Becky G and J Hope from BTS have collaborated on a song called Chicken Noodle Soup. And it is basically an interpolation of the original Chicken Noodle Soup, but with replaced lyrics. J Hope writes verses in Korean, Becky G writes verses in raps in Spanish, and then I think they collab together to do Spanish and Korean mixed lyrics for her. It's really nice. It's really, really nice that they decided to do that. But that is just totally not my style. And so, not best pleased. However, there is a silver lining to the situation for me. And that silver lining exists in the form of Jinbo the Super Freak. So, you may be asking yourself, who is Jinbo the Super Freak? Jinbo is an artist that I have been following since before I had a YouTube channel. Literally since before I had a YouTube channel. Jinbo the Super Freak is a producer. That's what he's best known as, even though he's also a singer, collaborator, producer, songwriter, lyricist. He does it all. He's a king. He's a king. But I knew about Jinbo a long, long time. And I knew him from a song he did called Fantasy. I'm going to try to see, when did Fantasy come out? Because it's been a long time since Fantasy came out. Jinbo Fantasy. Okay, album results. That song came out in 2013. So yeah, before I had a YouTube channel is when Fantasy came out. It came out the tail end of 2013 because the music video came out January 31st of 2013. So almost 2012. Literally almost 2012. But Fantasy is one of my favorite songs by Jinbo. It started me kind of looking into who he is and what he does, looking into kind of like the history of his involvement with K-pop. And actually, because of Jinbo, is how I discovered so many other people. Because Jinbo was the first time I ever thought about somebody being involved with K-pop that wasn't a part of like K-pop big groups, like wasn't a part of the SMYG system. So like he probably was my first introduction to K hip hop and K R&B, to be honest with you. Speaking of which, I kind of feel like he invented the phrase K R&B because one of his first mixtapes was a cover album called K R&B. And once I saw it there, I started seeing it everywhere, the genre. But Jinbo, while his solo career has never really just taken off in terms of his singing, he has been behind some of my favorite moves in K-pop period. And it started with like his production stuff that he did for other K hip hop artists. He's always been really good with that. He's done some really great K hip hop collaborations. He's done stuff with Primary. He's done stuff with Hoodie. He's done stuff with Jay Park. Basically, you name it in the K hip hop industry, he's probably worked behind the scenes or done a verse or done a chorus for somebody on their project. But even more importantly, he started producing a lot for mainstream K-pop labels. He's done production work for YG. He has done one of my favorite Chinese songs, "Close the Door," off of the Everybody album. Him and Suman got together and collaborated to do "Look" off of the Perfect Velvet, which was their secondary stage when they were promoting Peekaboo. Suman herself is another one of his frequent collaborators. She actually wrote what to me is the best song on Red Velvet's latest album, Day 2. Is the song called "Eyes Locked, Hands Locked." And it's just really cool that for the first time in his career, he has a number one song on iTunes, because it's never happened. Even though he's had songs that have been popular in Korea that he produced for people, Jinbo actually spent a lot of time being raised in Houston, Texas. So he's kind of US based for a lot of it. And so it's one thing to be acknowledged in Korea and have people like your stuff, but still not really having that lead single on somebody's album. It's quite another to the place where you kind of grew up at. You're number one on their charts. So I'm really glad to see him get that acknowledgement for the work that he's been doing. Also, this is not his first time working with BTS. He also has songwriting credits for Anpanman. So yeah, he's not new to the group. He's not new to Big Hit as a company. I hope that this means that he's going to get a more prominent role on some production credits for BTS. But even more than that, I really want to see him get in the studio with TXT. I've never made it a secret that I couldn't actually find a way to connect with TXT when they came out. If Jinbo's working the boards for them, I'll find a way to make it happen, because I just really believe in the man's talent. I believe in the work that he does. I think he's super humble, and that if given the right working conditions, he's capable of making a hit for anybody, because he just has a certain amount of soul in him that can't be duplicated. So yeah, I'm really happy for Jinbo, and for that reason, Chicken Noodle Soup, you're all right by me. I'm not going to listen to you, but you're all right by me. Also, I'm not going to talk about the jail twist thing. I know y'all are probably expecting me to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it because I feel this way. And this is over several years of having to deal with having the cultural appropriation conversation. Um, just like I don't feel like one black person can speak about the way I feel about race relations, I can't speak about the way other black people feel about cultural appropriation. I don't feel like Candace Owen talks for me when it comes to my political beliefs. Even though we're both black women, we're not the same. So don't say that the things she says are what we all feel, because it's not true.
Who?
The same way people are, Candace Owen is going to say that Barack Obama doesn't speak for her as a black person, because they're not the same. We're all different individuals. So the way I feel about cultural appropriation and what I think is or is not cultural appropriation is going to be different than the way that other people feel. But especially in the case of J-Hope's jail twist, it's so light on the scale of shitty things that people have done in the name of cultural appropriation that I just don't have the energy to talk about it. I literally don't. I'm not going to give my opinion on it. I'm not going to say that my opinion speaks for anybody else. It's just going to go as one of those things that is a discussion. If you have feelings about it, you're entitled to your feelings, and those feelings are valid for you. And that's literally where it lies. Those feelings are valid for you. They don't speak to anybody else's feelings. They just are your feelings. So there you go. However, I will talk about another instance of cultural appropriation that is not about your feelings, about fucking cultural appropriation, and that has to do with Queendom. If you're not watching Queendom, you should be, because Queendom is a show that is high on the scale of must-watch television in K-pop. Like, there hasn't been, outside of Produce, there hasn't been another show that has been so much fodder for K-pop discussions like this as Queendom. You know, there's Show Me the Money, but if you're not familiar with the players, Show Me the Money's not going to be your cup of tea. And it takes forever to get translations for it because it's rap. And so you have to have somebody translate every single rap as well as every single discussion on the show. It just takes forever. Produce gets subbed really, really quickly. It's super duper popular, so that's why we talk about Produce. Queendom is super duper popular right now. It gets subbed fairly quickly now that people realize we want to see that shit. And it has things we love, meaning it's got groups that people have attachments to, that they want to see what they're going to do, and they're excited for these performances. Well, the first week of performances, each group had to sing, dance their most popular song. So you had Mamamoo doing Dalkomane, which I didn't think was their most popular song, but whatevs. They had Park Bom doing You and I, which was her debut song as a solo. They had G.I.O. doing La Ta Ta, which I agree, that's a pretty good choice. They had AOA do Miniskirt, which that's a good choice. I agree. They had Oh My Girl doing the song they got their first win with, which I think is called Secret Garden. I had stopped listening to Oh My Girl shortly after Windy Day, so I don't know a lot of their song titles anymore. And then Lovelyz did Achu. So I think I've got them all. Well, the second week, they had to go into teams and they would have to do like kind of like couples. And so let's say Park Bom and (G)I-DLE were in a team, which they were. That meant that (G)I-DLE had to cover a song that Park Bom has performed, and Park Bom had to cover a song that (G)I-DLE has performed. Well, (G)I-DLE, because Park Bom was a member of 2NE1, they decided they were going to do a 2NE1 song, which, duh, why wouldn't you? I mean, if you're given the opportunity to plumb through the 2NE1 catalog for a hit song, bitch, this isn't even a challenge anymore. This is a gift, you know. And I kind of expected them to do I'm the Best, but I'm like, you know what would be kind of an even more interesting song for them to do if they didn't do I'm the Best? Do one like the B-sides, like do Appa, or, you know, do If I Were You, or do, you know, I Love You, which is such an underrated song in the 2NE1 catalog. Like, those of us who are fans, of course we know I Love You and we love it a lot, but like when people talk about like the best songs by 2NE1, people don't talk about that song enough, which is really odd. Really odd, because I think it's one of their most beautiful videos, and also it's one of their best melodies. But that's just me. That's me talking. (G)I-DLE decides to do Fire, which I kind of get why they did Fire, because Blackpink, their Boombayah sounds a lot like Fire. So I think kind of (G)I-DLE was thinking, we want a song that kind of sounds a little bit like Blackpink, a little bit like 2NE1. Let's pick Fire. Well, Sohyun, who is the kind of leader of the group, you know, the person who runs things around there, the one who tells, you know, gets the girls in order, gets the girls in line. She tells the group, okay, I've decided how I want to produce this. I want to produce this song with African drums, and I want to put bindis on our foreheads, and I want to do Indian war cries, and we're going to call it ethnic hip.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
First of all, the literal definition of cultural appropriation is taking something from a culture and stripping it of its original meanings and name, and then calling it something brand new in your culture. Which is the reason why...
The literal definition, love.
Which is the reason why I didn't want to talk about J-Hope's Gel Twist, because that's just this fucking Gel Twist. You know, it's not that big a deal. But to take Afrobeat, which is what those African drums, that rhythm, it's already a genre, to use something that has religious symbolism to people who practice Hinduism, bindis as a fashion accessory, to take, which is so stereotypical of what people think of Native American Indians, so you're even mixing up your Indians and being like, I'm just going to take all this stuff, strip it of any connection it had to the cultures that they're involved in order to do something brand new that I am naming ethnic hip. And it speaks a lot to the way that she thinks about these cultures, and that it's ethnic because it's not Korean.
Okay, it is Hindu.
It's ethnic because it's not Korean. Like, that's the simplest terms. It's ethnic because it's not Korean. But that African drum rhythm, that's not ethnic to Africans. That's their culture. Bindis are not ethnic to Hindus. That's their culture. In the society where that item means something, it's not ethnic. It's just their culture. So to then take it and just take selectively, not even everything, just take selectively, and then rename it as something foreign because your culture is the default, that's pretty fucking shitty. Not only that, but like the performance was weak. Not gonna lie to you.
Ooh.
So, you know, it wasn't a bad performance. I'm not gonna say that, but the performance is weak. And that part of the song was shitty. It didn't match with anything. It was just something you threw in there because you thought it was cute. And then she did like this kind of mumbly, like, try to sound mystic. It was just, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because it makes me think of all of the other stuff that she's done with (G)I-DLE. It makes me wonder, like, what were the conversations before those projects were released? Like, what was the conversation before they decided to produce and release Uh-Oh that sounds like 90s hip-hop? Did she rename it, like, you know, 90s hop hip? Brand new genre? It makes me think of when they did Senorita and how god-awful the production was on Senorita. Where she's like, I want to do something Spanish, but I also want to do something that has kind of hip-hop undertone. And we're going to call it Senorita because that's a Spanish word, right, guys?
Isn't it reggaeton?
It was awful is what it was. It was awful.
Isn't
And it made a lot of people look at her and be like, you know what? Not great. But yes, you're right. Spanish hip-hop. There is a genre within Spanish hip-hop called reggaeton, which is very popular. You could have done that, but that's not what you did.
You could have just said, I want to make a reggaeton song.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you look at that ethnic hip conversation and then you look at the catalog for (G)I-DLE, it's like, this bitch is really out here tripping, isn't she? And then the icing on the shitty cupcake is that Cube then releases an announcement saying that (G)I-DLE is going to be gearing their next releases towards an American market. Baby, now is not the time. Now is not the time. You need to spend a year trying to work that shit out, trying to make things right, trying to, you know, take some sensitivity training. You need to do something. Now's not the time for you to go to America, because don't think for a minute that international K-pop fans have forgotten what you said and aren't going to roast your ass when you're out here talking about, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Listen. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Do not get on Good Morning America, the Jimmys of the Kimmels,
the Jimmy Fallons, the Stephen Colberts,
any of the Jimmys, any of them.
Any of the late night show hosts.
Don't get on these shows doing fucking wearing bindies. I can just imagine like men in grass skirts in the back doing native dances. Don't do this. Don't do this.
We will tear you up in America. We will tear you up.
It is so hard to get people who interview K-pop artists to give them real interviews as it stands.
What interviews thought that BTS was off of YouTube? They got their fame off of YouTube.
For the people who asked Monsta X, so how did you come up with your last album, Persona? You know, the people who mix up all the groups and don't know who is what.
Someone thought NCT was BTS.
Oh man, like when people are like, well, y'all all look the same. You know,
excuse me?
It's hard enough to have K-pop finally be seen as an authentic musical genre. I'll be damned if I'm gonna let fucking (G)I-DLE come in here and ruin this for me. You're not gonna do it. I had to live through the Gangnam era. I had to live through the Oppa Gangnam Style. And, oh my gosh. And people are like, Gangnam Style. I would never, But I've seen literal people do that shit. I'm not having that happen. It's not happening again. It's not happening again. Ooh. So that's why I'm saying, don't do this to me. Do not do this to me. I'm not here for it. I'm not letting it happen. It cannot happen. Do not do this to me. I know you want to, because I know you want to shit on my life. I know you don't want good for me, but don't do this, because just don't do this. Just don't do this.
I'm stuck in my head now.
It makes me so angry. Like, even thinking about it, like, my blood pressure is going up because it makes me so fucking mad. Because because I'm already kind of in a weird place when it comes to K-pop in America. So while we're talking about, let's talk about Super M. So
you mean Super?
Yes. Super M is around the corner. Like, it's literally just about to be here. And supposedly they're gearing all their promotions towards Western markets. They're not going to be promoting in Korea. SM, I think it's a terrible, terrible idea, but you do you, babe. When Super M does their American promotions, there's going to be a lot of people saying shit that's going to make me mad towards Taemin. But what's going to make me even angrier is if SM doesn't think about the fact that it takes more to make it in America than having an international fan base for the varied artists you decide to mash up into what you call an Avengers-style group. And I feel like they're going to come in, with SM pumping them up and making them feel like they're bigger than what they actually are when it comes to where I live. Because that's the thing, like, you know, when BTS came to America, when Monsta X came to America, when GOT7 was touring America, when a lot of these groups come to America, I don't think they come to America thinking we are the shit. I think they come to America thinking we have built-in fan bases who we have come to see, and it is surprising when other people from other areas are interested in this, because this is kind of what we know is a niche musical style here. If Super M comes to America and they're just like, the Kings are here, that's going to be really hard for me, because that's when you get these Western media assholes laughing. That's when they're like, ha, you thought. Nobody gives a fuck about you. We don't even know who you are. What are you, Monsta X? Like, seriously. You saw how serious Western artists take K-pop acts when fucking French Montana couldn't even remember his funky-ass lyrics for his performance of Monsta X, and continues to be a fucking Debbie Downer-ass drag who needs to quit drinking and fucking smoking so much so you can remember a fucking lyric. Ooh. You know, like, we already have to deal with that.
Speak that truth, Mom.
So then you're gonna have fucking Super M come here and SM pump them full of lies and abuses, and not actually let them do the thing that would be the best thing to do, is promote in Korea and then come over here and, you know, hope that residual crowds follow. Like, let it be organic. Like, let people know we came here for the people who are fans of our respective groups, but if you want to get on this, let's do that too. But going to America and being like, these are the kings of K-pop, these are the ones that everybody loves, like, you're just setting them up for failure. You're setting them up for being mocked, and I don't think that that's fair. And I don't have anything against anybody in Super M. You know that. Fucking Taemin's in Super M. I love Super M. I've already pre-ordered my copy of their album with Taemin on the cover. It's happening. But I'm saying, just don't send them over here and pump their head full of what it's going to be and have them promote in that way when that's not what it's going to be for real, for real. And so that, I'm nervous about that. But fucking G-Idol, if you come to America and you start spouting this whole ethnic hip shit, I will be irate. I'll have to fly to Korea and shake you down myself. I don't like that shit. I don't like that shit at all. So I want to make sure I talked about that. That was a cultural appropriation conversation that I wanted to have. That one I wanted to have. Okay. Speaking of Queendom, though, I want to give you shouts out to AOA and to OMG. Oh My Girl. AOA, because Egotistic is like really doing numbers in Korea. I think it's gonna turn the tide for them, and it's about fucking time because they had just been going through the fucking ringer, and they've lost two members, and their popularity is kind of at an all-time low. I hadn't heard for anybody checking for AOA recently, so I'm really glad that this turned things around for them. But Oh My Girl, this really is the turning point for them. That Destiny performance they gave was outstanding. If you haven't watched Oh My Girl do their version of the Lovelies Destiny, you've got to watch it. Like, seriously, I don't know why you're watching me when you could watch them. Okay, I had to lean in because I got to talk to you about it. So, they're wearing these really pretty black hanboks. They're very, very good looking. Like, they look like something that's very modern, but at the same time historical. It almost reminds me of, like, I don't want to say ninja style, but like it's kind of like a historical lady assassin. That's kind of what it looks like to me. And they've got these background dancers, and they're doing things with these beautiful white sheets, and it's all very dramatic. But then they take Destiny, which is already a kick-ass song, and they like, I wouldn't say slowed it down, but like they made it more orchestral and kind of dragged out the melody a little bit to kind of give you more emphasis on every lyrical moment, and they fucking killed it. Bitch, they killed it. They killed it. They killed it. They did such a good job. Like, you almost forget that it used to be Lovely Song. It was so damn good. And I think that it definitely lets people know that this is a group that we need to pay attention to again. Because I was talking about this with my friend group. I used to really like Oh My Girl. I actually have a copy of their first release that I bought off of M-Wave because I liked Cupid so much. And then I bought Closer. I have that here. I also bought Windy Day. I have that here. And all three of those albums are out of print. You can't buy them except for through the secondary market. But I really had faith in Oh My Girl because I liked Liar Liar, I liked Windy Day, I liked Closer, and I liked Cupid. So I'm like, okay, these girls are fixing to get it. And also, their MVs were so nice. Like the Cupid MV, nothing to write home about. But the Closer MV was gorgeous. It looked like a fucking fairy tale. Also, the year that I unboxed that album, I chose that album as best packaging because the music video looked like a fairy tale. The album looked like an actual fairy tale book. It was completely gorgeous. I was so in love. And then Liar Liar, what a great song. What a quirky video. It was kind of like Red Velvet's Russian Roulette before Red Velvet's Russian Roulette in a lot of ways from the way that it was like set up. And Windy Day is such a bizarre ass video and song, but it's also super cool. Like, they're deer and I guess they're hunting each other. I don't know. I don't know. You have to watch it. But I really, really liked Oh My Girl. But then something happened after Windy Day, and like the successive songs just weren't for me. Banana Monkey Allergy? No, no, no. Even Secret Garden. I remember when they did Secret Garden for Queendom, I'm like, this song was okay, but it's kind of sleepy. It reminds me of Christmas. But then, like I said, they did Destiny, and it reminded me of why it was that I saw potential in Oh My Girl. First of all, they have some really strong lead vocals. Like, don't underestimate their lead vocals. Them bitches can wail. But also, there's an emotional energy that that group has that comes through in their performances and in the way they sing. And that's the reason why when they would do quirky concepts, they were so good at it because they sell it. Like, their faces sell it. And that is the reason why I really hope that this encourages whoever's producing them to start giving them these kind of, I won't even say quirky. That's the wrong phrase. Give them dramatic moments. Like, if you're going to do a funny song, like, make it like a funny rom-com or comedy or whatever. If you're going to give them a sad ballad or whatever, make it heartbreaking like a K-drama. Like, let them act their way through their songs because that is what they're good at. And I just don't think that their company has done enough to let people know that that's what they're good at. But yeah, I think that this has totally changed everything. I think this has changed everything. And it makes me interested in them again. And depending on what this next single is, I might buy an album. Because, I mean, it really has changed my mind. As it is, I'm thinking about buying an AOA album. And I haven't bought an AOA album since Good Luck. I literally only own two AOA albums. I own a copy of Good Luck, and I own a copy of Moya that somebody bought for me as a gift. I think it's Moya. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, Queendom, if you're not watching Queendom, you should watch Queendom. There's some amazing performances there. And just, some good moments for television watching. Also, unpopular opinion, Mamamoo's version of AOA's Good Luck was trash. Hate me in the comments if you want to. But when they walked out on stage, I remember thinking, what the hell is going on? Because these are four people dressed for four completely different events, and none of it makes sense. You had Solar dressed like she was going to a kiddie burlesque. You had Hwasa dressed like she was about to hang out on the corner in Compton. You had Moonbyul looking like she was about to get on the strap and peg somebody. And then you had Wheaton wearing an outfit that looked like a sexy version of Tomb Raider. Like, it was so strange. And then they did their stages, and everybody did their section of the song differently. They didn't do the point dance, which, why wouldn't you do the point dance? The point dance for Good Luck is actually really cute. Instead, they did like a thumbs up. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what they did. I don't know what they did. But it was all over the place. It was all over the place, and honestly, to be quite frank with you, it read disrespectful to AOA, because when you look at the amount of care and passion that AOA approached egotistic with, it's very obvious that they wanted to make sure that Mamamoo would be proud of what they did, that they would give a strong performance to show that they're at the same level as Mamamoo, and also one that makes it to where it doesn't look like they're making fun of Mamamoo as a group. And to me, the Mamamoo performance of Good Luck kind of looked like they were making fun of AOA. Like, they're not a group to be taken seriously, so we're not going to do a serious stage. So yeah, I was not best pleased, and I think that, they got a higher score than they were entitled to for the show, because they did not perform nearly as confidently or as invested in their performance as AOA was in their performance of Egotistic. Also, just because we have to talk about it since we're talking about it anyway, I need to talk about the fact that Lovelyz got a lot of shit for their cover of Brown Eyed Girl's Sixth Sense. And while I don't think that the hate that netizens gave them was appropriate, I will say you don't take on a song by Brown Eyed Girls, who are K-pop vocal legends, when you don't have the timbre of voice to match. Also, because Sixth Sense is kind of like a feminist anthem in a lot of ways, it is a song that has a certain level of gravitas to it, and that goes throughout everything. It's not just about the kind of war paint smudges you put on your face and wearing the military gear and doing kind of the strong dancing. It is also about your voice. A lot of what makes the members of Brown Eyed Girls so popular, especially Gayen, has nothing to do with the fact that, they're beautiful and they sing really well. It also has to do with the fact that they sell their performances. Whether it's the look on their face, whether it's the way that they modulate their voice to sound like they are about to either choke up or get angry or whatever else, they do a lot of their singing through their vocal tactic. And because of that, when you have a group like Lovelyz, who have lovely voices, perform a song in a flat way, it's just not a good look. But that's what you get for taking on a monster. If I was Lovelyz, I would have approached it with something totally different. I mean, I wouldn't have gone like, even if they didn't want to do an Oh My Girl song because they feel like their concepts are too similar, which I get that. I would have maybe done something else that's like beautiful, but at the same time different. Like, I would have done an IU song. That would have been fun because IU has kind of a lighter timbered voice. So that would have fit the group fine. Or, they could have just done Oh My Girl. Seriously, they could have done "Oh My Girl" and done, "Liar Liar." That would have been actually, "Liar Liar" would have been really cute for Lovelace to do. Like, real talk, Lovelace doing "Liar Liar" would have been really sweet. But that's not what they chose, and instead they chose to do "Sixth Sense," which is a closer. You're right. That would have been good too. I agree with you, David. I think doing A Pink, Mr. Chew would have been so cute. Could you imagine Lovely's doing Mr. Chew after doing Achu the week before? That would have been really cute. Mr. Chew, no, no, Mr. Chew. Anyway, that would have been cute. Or even No. No would have been cute for Lovely's to do. But they chose otherwise. And that was, I don't think. Ooh, Our Love would have been, Love. That would have been cute for Lovely's. That would have been cute. But yeah, doing Brown Eyed Girls, vocally, it's not for you. You're not trained in that way, and it just came across like karaoke style. So that's what I wanted to say. So I'm going to go ahead and read some comments because I am behind, but there were a lot of lovely comments left. So going back to the conversation about (G)I-DLE, Lixbrick says, "I wish he let the other girls have their input in things." I agree. That was another thing that I found really unattractive about the parts of the show that included Soyeon and (G)I-DLE, is that she basically tells the girls what to do and does not give them any input. She basically makes them audition for their place in that group, which I think is kind of shitty. And then Anthony says, Han La Ta Ta. Ooh, stop that. Sorry, my daughter is hitting this thing with her foot. So now the camera's all adjusted. There you go. So Jordan Young says, "I like Senorita personally, but I'm starting to reevaluate my opinion." Anthony says the same thing about Han or La Ta Ta. Alondra says, "Honey, a storm is coming." Absolutely. If they keep on with this whole ethnic hip thing, they're going to be torn up when they get to the U.S. And then Lixbrick says, "Cube forgot all about CLC." I don't think that Cube forgot about CLC, but I think Cube is about their money. And because they're about their money, CLC isn't bringing in the attention and the money the same way that (G)I-DLE is. So yeah, there you go. Anthony says, "I like La Ta Ta and Han, but now I have a different opinion." Jordan Young says, "That's the thing about Korea. They don't have a lot of cultural understanding. It doesn't seem like something that's taught in school." Even if you don't have a lot of cultural understanding, you don't have to. Like, literally, you don't have to. If you could just see that, if you could just understand one core concept, you could prevent yourself a lot of headache when it comes to other cultures. And the core concept you need to understand is this: what feels foreign to me is home to someone else. And if I wouldn't want somebody to disrespect my home, I need to be mindful of how I interact with somebody else so that I don't disrespect their home. That's all you've got to understand. You don't have to go into the depths of history with another culture in order to be respectful to that culture. All you have to say to yourself is this: that is their home. Is what I'm doing something that they would consider disrespectful in their home? So if it comes to foreign fashion and there's some symbol that you don't understand, take a minute to look it up, ask a question, and if it would be disrespectful in the culture where it comes from, leave it alone. Like that's all you need. That is literally all you need. It doesn't take a Harvard degree. It doesn't take several courses in cultural appropriation. It is literally like, if somebody did this to me in my home, would it be disrespectful? Then I'm not going to do it somewhere else. That's it. Meg R says, "I was worried at first and didn't know how the public would feel towards Oh My Girl, but the Destiny performance seemed to have broken through to the general public in a huge way, and I'm so happy for them." Yes, in case you don't know, Meg R, their fans are called Miracles. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's pretty true. But yeah, she's a huge fan. She even has like a special edition of Banana Monkey Allergy. So yeah, huge fan. But definitely for the Korean public, I think Oh My Girl was looked at as one of those girl groups that just is out there. They just exist. They weren't even on the same level as GFriend, which is surprising because like that whole group of groups were kind of debuted around the same time. But yeah, I'm really glad that this made a lot of people more aware of what's unique about Oh My Girl. And I'm glad to see that Seunghee is being known for the meme queen that she is, because baby, I didn't know. Now that I do know, I live for her. Her face is everything. That's another reason why you should watch Queendom, because her reaction faces are the greatest thing about that show. Literally the greatest. Whereas Bomb can't really give a reaction because of face issues. That girl, she is like a walking emoji. I love her. Lixbrick says, kind of wish Lovelyz covered OMG instead of BG, but I still enjoyed their performance. Well, I get it, and I agree. I think they should have just gone ahead and gone with the cover. Sarah says, Oh My Girl used to be my favorite girl group, but I feel like they fell off with that coloring book comeback. Agreed, even though one thing I will say about the coloring book comeback, they had some really cool shoes in that comeback. I know that's a random thing to say, but they had like these shoes that were painted to look like roller skates. Shit was badass. Tay says, Mamamoo's stage was really tacky. I agree. Jordan Young says, I've never really gotten Mamamoo. They are talented, but I just don't get them. Mamamoo is a hard group for a lot of people to get into because they do a lot. Like, okay, even though I didn't think that their stage was good, I thought that their stage for Queendom was very, very representative of who they are as a group. Like, they're constantly doing different things. They're all kind of on their own journeys. So Mamamoo is one of those groups that you may not collect everything they do because you don't like everything they do, because they do so fucking much. But they'll come out with a song that will get you. And then the next song you might hate. And then the next song you're like, it's all right. And then the next song you're like, bitch, they're back. And it's a different reaction for everybody. But I was like that with Mamamoo. When Mamamoo first came out, the very first song I ever heard from Mamamoo, before I even knew who they were, was a song called Please, I think it was called Please Don't. What was it? It was like Himbo Kajima. It was with one of the members of Mamamoo and Bumkey. Crap. Now I'm gonna have to look that up because I have got to know the name of that song. Don't you dare break a smile. Mamamoo Bumkey. Don't Be Happy. That's the name. Thank you. Thank you, Lixbricks. But yeah, Don't Be Happy. And that was Bumkey, Huyen, and Solar. So it wasn't even the whole group. But that was the first Mamamoo song that I heard. And I remember thinking, this shit's kind of jazzy. I kind of like this shit. Then they did their very first song, Mr. Amamoo. I think that was Mr. Amamoo. That song, Mr. Ambiguous. I thought that song was cute. I thought it was. I bought that album. Then they did Mr. Piano, or Piano Man. I didn't really like that song so much. I thought it was a little too kitschy for me. Didn't buy that one. Then they did Yeah, but before that they did the song with the other girl. Shit, it's not Yeah, but it's Aup. They did Aup. I thought with Esma. Aup was a good song by Esma. Very good song. Then they did the Yeah, which I thought was really good. And I liked the one right after that was You're the Best. That was really good. But then they did Dalkomane. I didn't really like that song. I didn't like a lot of stuff for a minute. And then they came back so strong with Starry Night. Like, they came back like fucking gangbusters with Starry Night. And after that, I was like, I'm interested again. And Egotistic was a great song as well. But their latest song, I can't even remember what the name of it is. Like, it was so kind of like, whatever, that I can't even think of what it's called. And that's the kind of way it is. They're very inconsistent because they're always doing something else. Go Go Babe. Yeah, I totally forgot about that song. Totally forgot about it. It doesn't compute. I can't even think what the melody sounds like right now. So yeah, for people who can't get into Mamamoo, it's because they are so incredibly inconsistent, you know. And then they also do all of these solo projects, and their solo projects are all over the place too. You know, Hwasa does really what I consider kind of my taste in terms of solo projects, except for Twit. I kind of liked it, but not everybody likes it. I kind of like it. Not everyone likes it. Na. Anyway, Twit I kind of liked, but it's not my favorite thing. But then I've heard Hwasa sing other songs. Like she did the song like Don't Ask. The song that she did with Loco. That song fucking slaps. It is. It's so good. Loco and Was Don't Give It to Me. That's the name of the song. If you've never heard Loco and Huasa's Don't Give It to Me and you like a jazzy R&B, oh, here's a perfect, if you like Hyolin's Erase that she did with Ju Young, check out Don't Give It to Me by Loco and Huasa. It has a very similar dynamic, similar vibe. Not the same sound, similar dynamic, similar vibe. There you go. But with no iron, thank God. But yeah, I like their stuff that they do. I like the stuff that they do. But it's just very inconsistent. And then Moonbyul, she gets solos every once in a while, but they're weird. Yeah. The members also get on my nerves a little bit. I don't know why. I tried watching a few things with them and I wasn't feeling them. I liked Huasa when she did I Live Alone. I thought that was pretty good, but I don't know. I haven't watched many things with all of the members because it could be a little much. It could be a little much. So I was going to read what Awkward Panda wrote after that, but the message was removed, so I couldn't read it. And David says Lovely should have done a Pink. We addressed that. Yes, they should have. Lovely should have done Closer by Oh My Girl. I agree too. Lovely's was playing down a little dumb to take. I think that was supposed to be typed a different way. But it says the girls' voices don't fit those types of songs. I agree. I think it was not a great choice because it doesn't fit their vocal tones. And then Ina Zhang says, Soyeon is the reason why I can't stand G-Idol, lol. I'm telling you, she gives you a good reason to hate the group because she's tripping right now. She's really tripping. David says, I thought it was corny when G-Idol said that they were the best in their generation. It didn't seem corny to me. It seemed cocky to me. But, you know, I guess because Soyeon is trying to play the rapper hip hop role, she's like, I need to be braggadocious. So that's what she's doing, is bragging a lot. But yeah, I could have done without that as well. It's like, girl, you're not even the greatest on this fucking show. Maybe you need to quit trying to be greatest in your generation. Hold on for a minute. Dante's analysis, I feel like Soyeon has the attitude of it's my way or the highway. She does, but you have to ask, where does she get that from? And it comes from fucking Cube and the public. You know, they did the whole KDA All-Stars thing where she got a lot of press for that. She did Unpretty Rap Stars, so she had a lot of notoriety before she even entered the group. She's producing everything. She's been giving kind of artistic freedom in everything that she does. She's been given basically the role of directing that group. That is her group. And it's going to end up in a Hyuna-esque situation where it's like Soyeon and them other bitches, because that's what happened to 4 Minute. And that's what Cube is allowing to have happen. So maybe they could do better, right? And then we talked about all the Mamamoo stuff. And Jordan Young says, the members also get on my nerves. We read that. Awkward K-pop Panda says, I love Mamamoo, but I think they've gotten too big for their britches, and I believe they thought they could come in and win the show easily without having to work hard for it. Okay, so you had accidentally deleted that. Cool. I do agree that it feels like Mamamoo didn't try as hard because they were of the opinion like, we're Mamamoo. And out of the groups on this show, I feel like our audience is the strongest. And they're not lying. Like, if you were to go into this show blind and you weren't going to take into effect how people ended up performing, and somebody just said, these are the groups that are going to be on the show, the minute someone said Mamamoo after saying the names of all these other groups, I'm like, yeah, Mamamoo's probably going to win. And no offense to Park Bom, who definitely has been in the industry longer, but it's not 2NE1 versus AOA versus Mamamoo versus G-Idol versus Lovelyz versus Oh My Girl. That's not what's happening here. It is Park Bom versus Mamamoo versus AOA versus Oh My Girl versus Lovelyz. And because that's what we're doing versus G-Idol, because that's what we're doing here, definitely Park Bom's at a disadvantage because it's just her. And, you know, I could name the issues with Park Bom. She's not a dancer. So choreography and stage presence is probably never going to be her strong suit. her voice can be sometimes unreliable. And she's alluded to the fact that, there are times of the day when her voice is stronger, when it's not as strong, and she's shown that she struggles. Also, Bomb has to overcome her reputation, and that's always going to be a stumbling block for her. So I get the reason why she's at a disadvantage. So putting to anyone aside, you wouldn't have gone into this competition thinking Park Bomb's going to win this whole thing. But you wouldn't have been off point to believe Mamamoo probably going to kill it. Because even in the promos, Mamamoo was doing really, really well. But then when it came to performances, their Dalcomaine performance was kind of like, I guess, it's not super great, but it's all right. Their performance of AOA's Good Luck was like, what is this exactly? What are we doing here? And it makes you wonder, like, how hard are they going to try the next week? Seriously, how hard are they going to try? Because it doesn't feel like they tried hard here. Like, they kind of went into it thinking, we have the largest fan base of all of the groups here, we'll be fine. And I think definitely, more than anything, the hunger and desire that AOA and Oh My Girl came into this show with, and the kind of cocky, brazen nature that Soyeon came into the show with and drug Giotto with her about, like, those are hard things to overcome if you're used to just being out there and doing what you're doing and killing it. And even like the netizen comments, even though netizens truly get on my nerves, they were saying, oh, they're going to go out and do what they always do. It's a typical Mamamoo show. And it's like, yeah, I kind of can see where you're coming from, because Mamamoo kind of does that thing where they get out there, they give you sass, they ask the audience to, join in, and they give a little bit more sass, and then give you some vocals, and then like end on a strong pose, and then they leave. So yeah, maybe you're gonna have to try a little harder. Maybe you're gonna have to put a little more emotion into what you're doing. Maybe you're not gonna have to be able to rely on the things that you've always done. So that's that. Maybe Hwasa, and I love you, Hwasa. I think you're amazing. Your cover of Khalid's Talk is really, really good. But Hwasa, I think maybe you need to stop smirking. I'm not saying that to be mean.
But the smirks, Mom.
Like, that is part of Hwasa's gig. Like, either she's giving you, like, resting bitch face, which I understand because that is literally my face right now as we're speaking. But if she's not giving you resting bitch face, she's giving you the smirky type thing, which my smirk looked like a very awkward wink / I might be having a stroke type of thing. But yeah, she does kind of the kind of thing with her face. And I think maybe pull that back a little bit. Pull it back a little bit. But yes, this is an Mnet show, so it is what it is. Even though I have to say, shout outs to every single group on that show, regardless of how I felt about your performances, for doing one thing, and that's not letting Mnet make you seem like you're more adversarial than what you actually are. Like, Mnet has been trying really hard, especially with their male MC, to make the women fight on Queendom. And they've been really good about not engaging in petty rivalries with each other. Definitely you had Soyeon, like, we're the best in our generation, but she doesn't consider herself in the same generation as Lovelyz and Oh My Girl. So she's not saying she's the best in the competition. She's saying she's the best in her generation. So with that being said, they have made it a point to not, like, underhand each other or shit on each other, or definitely they've tried very hard to not allow the kind of drama you see on an Unpretty Rap Star to be on this show. And that is the markings of a real queen. So that makes me very, very pleased. So kudos to you, ladies. Kudos to you for not letting Mnet throw you into their fucking baiting ass traps. I appreciate that. So I think I've talked about everything that I knew I wanted to make sure I talked about tonight. So if there's anything that you'd like me to talk about, leave some comments. I will look at it and I will discuss what I can. I can't say I can discuss everything, but I'm going to try. Also, Awkward K-Pop Panda says, she went from sweet girl to overly cocky as her persona. I do agree she needs to pull it back some. Yeah. Because this is not a Pretty Rap Star. This is Queendom. I really hope AOA continues to slay and regain the public interest. I hope so too. One thing I didn't understand about the AOA performance, and it's not like a confusion point, it's more like I just didn't understand this was going on in the background, was a lot of talk about how the AOA performance very much started a conversation about gender roles in Korea and actually is being seen as like a strong feminist performance. I didn't see it that way from initial viewing. I just thought these bitches killed it, and I thought it was cool that they had the LGBT representation with the drag queens. But yeah, apparently, like, people are saying it's not about the fact that they were drag queens, it's about the fact that you have AOA in the suits and they're not the ones being objectified. It is these men in these sexy costumes who are doing all kind of like the ass poking out dances and, you know, kind of rubbing themselves all over these more stoic figures of AOA. And so it's nice that it kind of has a political resonance as well as being an entertaining stage. So that's really, really cool to hear that happening for AOA. So yeah, tell me what else you want to talk about. I have this to say about YG being exonerated from the pimping charges regarding the whole thing with hiring out ladies to go on these yachts to sleep with investors. And the other thing I have to say about that is, are we surprised? There you go. Dante's Analysis asks, do you think they will have a male version of this show in the future? I think you can. I really do think you can. But I think in order to do the male version of this show, it can't be a super popular group. Like, it could be a popular group, but not like a super popular group. Like, if I was gonna put groups for a lineup of Kingdom, I would put a group like Oneness, The Boys, maybe GOT7 as like the Mamamoo-esque group. And I know there's going to be a lot of people like, what do you mean GOT7 is not super popular? I'm just saying GOT7 in terms of like GOT7, because GOT7 is, they're very popular, but they've got some time to devote to this because they're not trying to make their US debut right now. ATEEZ and Pentagon would be great choices, especially because Pentagon needs a recovery arc. So this would be perfect for them. They cannot go on Produce. They cannot go on Produce. But Pentagon would be great for this. I don't think Victon would be good for this show, only because they had 2 members go on Produce. So I don't think timing-wise this would be good for them. ATEEZ would be phenomenal for this show because they definitely very much would play the role of kind of the G-Idol-esque group on there. So yeah, I think that definitely, like, and then if you had to bring like one guy on the show who is kind of the solo who used to be part of a big group, well, I don't know if he could do the show just because I think he's enlisting. Bang Young-gook from BAP could come on there as kind of like the solo guy from a big group who's trying to establish himself for himself. I think would be really, that'd be awesome. So those are a few choices I would have for a Kingdom-esque show. So it was strength in the was men are held and shows they can do it too. Strength in the, I think that there's something, strength in the way men are held and shows they can do it too is groundbreaking. I'm glad it went well. It could have gone either way. Retype that for me. Help me out. Kim Dong-un, maybe. Taya says the Korean public literally ignores GOT7 and then is surprised at how talented they are. Okay, connected. So Awkward K-Pop Panda was actually saying, yeah, I got that from it too. I was a bit worried. I majored in political science with a focus area in international relations, and having looked into the political system in Korea, having women showing strength in the ways men are held and shows they can do it too was groundbreaking. Okay, there you go. Gotcha. Okay, I could see Zello doing it too. Yeah, Zello would actually be really good because he's super young and he could be like, you know, my childhood was stolen from me by TS Entertainment and now I'm here to reclaim my position as a man. That's a great storyline. They should stick with that one. That'd be really good. Let's see who else was mentioned here. Brown Eyed Girl come back and Twice come back. people want to know my opinions. I like Twice's comeback song. I haven't listened to the album, but I liked Fancy You as well. So I'm really glad to see Twice kind of like coming back as a group of that has catchy songs, because I think in the past their songs have definitely been earworms, but they haven't necessarily been catchy to me because I forgot about them really quickly. Whereas I think Fancy You has legs, and I think this latest song is actually pretty good. A concern a lot of people have had is that Twice's sound is kind of a little too similar. Their new sound is a little too similar to the sound that JYP is going with for ITZY, and that they don't want them to be identical sounds because ITZY is trying to establish a persona, and so they don't want it to be muddled, but they understand that Twice needs a new persona because they're not the same group that came out with UA, and they need to have a more grown-up look to match their growing maturity. But will Uncle Fan support? We shall see. Brown Eyed Girls come back. I'm very, very anticipatory of Brown Eyed Girl coming back. I'm super scared for them. And I'm not scared for every member. I'm only scared for Guyan because she had that very famous kind of breakdown season where she had entered into a mental health facility or was seeking help in some way, and then she had the whole thing about her boyfriend's friends trying to give her drugs, and things just got super messy for Guyan, like really super messy for her. And I want the public to love Brown Eyed Girls, and it sounds like they love Brown Eyed Girls, but I just don't want Guyan's personal problems being thrown in her face when obviously it was during a time of intense trauma, and she doesn't deserve to have her trying to get well but being in the middle of a manic period being used as a weapon against her. So that's how I feel about Brown Eyed Girls. I wish them the absolute best, but I'm scared for them. The girls of Sonamu are down to 5 now since 2 members are in a court battle with TS. Yes, TS has been tripping like a motherfucker today. Like, TS, they're suing Sleepy, whose contract ended with them, but they're suing him for embezzlement, even though they're the ones who can't really account for funds. So that's crazy. 2 girls from Sonamu have sued TS for contract termination, and TS is suing them back for, I guess, defamation or whatever. But basically they were like, we need to see the books, because we don't feel like we're getting paid what we're supposed to be getting paid. But they're also saying that TS alienated them from the other members of the group, that they've done all this other stuff, and TS is like, no, you're the ones who ruined everything, and you're the toxic ones, because that's the way the TS rolls. They're out here bad mouthing everybody and their grandma. But now finally we might see some real action happening against TS, because apparently the Korean labor agency or whatever is investigating them for bad work practices. Because if you think about it, in order for a company to treat their actual idols that bad, you have to wonder how they treat normal people, right? Well, apparently they've been treating their employees like shit, not paying their employees, not giving them their earned vacation time, not paying them for overtime, like just really being the shittiest employer ever. And Korea's got some employment issues anyway. Like, I've heard about people in Korea working for months and not getting paid. I've heard about unsafe working conditions, extra overtime that's not paid as overtime, that's just expected work. Especially when it comes to like people who work on the sets of K-dramas, there's a lot of BS that goes on behind the scenes with unsafe work conditions on K-dramas, and overworking conditions where people sometimes film for 48 hours in a row, or they're at least on set for 48 hours in a row. So when I say all that, Korea is not known for the nicest of work conditions for people, because you're expected to put a lot into your work life and not as much into your personal life in all aspects of society. But TS, they're fucked with the wrong ones once you get the government involved. And TS doesn't have enough money to buy their way out of problems like YG does. So yeah, they're probably going to really get it when they're not able to come up with receipts to show that they paid their employees like they were supposed to do. And once that gets cracked down, there will be no money to pay for attorneys to sue Sleepy and to sue former members of Secret and to sue the girls from Sun and Moon, because they're going to need every penny that they have to scratch lawyers to keep their asses out of prison once they're seen for violating labor laws, which are already not even that kind to workers. But if you can't meet the bare minimum, you are going to have some problems. And I've heard rumor, I don't know if it's true, but people said that the CEO of TS Entertainment, the previous CEO, died, but the rumor is that the previous CEO killed himself. That's the rumor, not a fact. Don't say I said it was a fact. It is the rumor. It is an allegation. It is not fact. But if it is true, it is probably because that person saw the ship sinking and knew there was nothing you could do to correct course. So, yeah. Whoever else is hanging on to the reins of TS Entertainment, maybe now's the time to, like, go ahead and just call it a day and get the fuck out of Dodge. You know, it's just, you hate to see it. You hate to see it happen because you hate to see the girls from Sun and Moon lose their dreams because they're tied to a shit company. You hate to see what's happening with tracing right now. You hate to see fans being robbed on MakeStar. Like, shit's bad. Shit's really bad right now for them. But this is a situation that they're absolutely responsible for. TS is absolutely responsible because there was a time when TS Entertainment was this close to being Big Four, Big Five, because they had Secret, and Secret had been doing really well. Then they had BAP. And if BAP didn't like halt promotions when they did and take a year and a half off, BAP very easily could have occupied the space that we currently see BTS in. Not because they had similar music style, but because the energy for fandom was there. Now, granted, they could have, I say that because anything could happen to anybody. You know, tides could turn, trends could change. They could have done something that would have been like a totally terrible comeback, and then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. But BAP had a very connected fandom. People loved BAP, and they were doing comebacks all the time. So it was very much people looking at them as like the next Big Bang. Like they were the next ones. They were the hot ones. And I remember like the year that BAP debuted, they debuted the same year as EXO, and people were like, who's gonna make Rookie of the Year? Is it gonna be BAP? Is it gonna be EXO? We don't know. Oh my gosh. But yeah, people really loved BAP. They had huge fans. They had great marketing. The Matokis, what a great idea. And so, with all that being said, when they took their hiatus because TS Entertainment was absolutely fucking overworking them and we all knew it, it ruined the momentum for them. But BAP came back. BAP came back. And do you know what happened when they came back? They fucking were overworked again, underfunded, basically, you know, spent. And so the members of BAP, they said, you know what? We're not even going to try to fight anything anymore. At this point, we're just going to stay here until we can leave. And that's what they did. That's what they did. But TS took what could have been a great opportunity to really create a legend in K-pop, bigger than what they ended up being. And they ruined it by overworking the fuck out of them. And I think that there's probably some other shit that happened with BAP that we don't know about, which is the reason why TS didn't turn around and sue BAP. Because they knew for a fact that they had to sue BAP, something was going to come out that was going to rock their damn worlds. So they decided to just go ahead and let everybody not renew. But yeah, TS ruined it. They ruined it. And then Sun and Moon, they fucked up their debut by letting it happen around the same time all of their stuff with BAP was going on. They gave them an inconsistent comeback. Like, a lot of shit happened that just shouldn't have happened because TS is a trash company. So let's see here. Do you think there will be another season of the unit, or was it a one-time thing? It's a one-time thing for the unit in terms of who were the judges on the previous season of the unit, because those people have other things to do. It was sad to see Jung Up on Sign Here. If you don't know, Sign Here is the reality show that AOMG did where they were looking for a new artist to sign to the label. And Jung Up, formerly from BAP, appeared on the show for, I want to say, 2 episodes before he was eliminated. At least he got some exposure outside of the K-pop scene. It's true, he did get some exposure. I tried to support Jung Up's solo debut. It wasn't my style, sorry. But I'm glad that he still got fans. He's a beautiful man, so, I wish him the best. Zico is coming back. Yes, Zico is coming back. And I am iffy about it. Let me tell you why. I'm iffy about Zico coming back because while I do like Zico's music, never have lied about that, I own Television, and I also own, what's the name of the other one? The Who Am I think is what it's called. The one with the big Z, the white one. I own that one too. I actually like Zico more than I like Block B. And I know that's shady. That is shady boots. Shady boots. But I really like Zico. And actually, also shade. I like Zico better than Block B as a whole for the most part. But Block B's last project, well, not their last project, the project before that, the Blooming Period project, I like the song that Dean wrote best on the album. Just saying. So maybe I'm not as big a fan of Zico as I should be. Maybe I'm just a really big fan of Dean. I don't know. I digress. Anyway, I really like Zico. One of my favorite songs that he's ever done is the I Am You, You Are Me. That song is incredible. If you've never heard it before, you should listen to it. It's really, really great. If you like R&B music, it's really, really great. Zico can sing and rap. It's awesome. But anyway, I like Zico a lot. Like, I like his music. Not everything he does is my favorite, because I didn't like Eureka, which is the word Eureka, but pronounced totally wrong. Eureka! What the fuck? Anyway, I like Zico a lot. But he had a role. He had some involvement with that whole Cacao Talk thing. Not a role in terms of he was caught spreading anything. He wasn't even a part of the group chat, so don't take it as me saying he did that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is Zico had very close friendships with several of the people involved with that whole Cacao Talk scandal. And he had been on television talking about how certain people had golden phones, and it made it seem like he may not have been a part of the inner circle, but he knew what was happening and he was down with it. That's what it seemed like. Kind of guilt by association. Also, we're not best pleased with him because when the whole thing with him and Soyeon from AOA dating came out, she really took the brunt of the public's hate, and it made her seem like she was some old dirty, nasty girl, when the reality was they were both in a relationship together, and it should have been treated as such. And we think that he probably could have spoke up on her behalf. Just saying. So while on the one hand, I'm excited to hear new music from Zico, I'm also hopeful that he will address his part in the Cacao Talk issue, that he will maybe talk about the way that he has been portrayed in the way that he interacts with people. And this is just like, again, it's hard not to feel like he should be judged kinder, because he also had Tough Cookie where he's fag. He's been dressed in clothes that had like Confederate flags on them, I believe. And anytime Zico's been caught up in any kind of scandal like that, his response has always been no response for the most part. And that's the reason why I'm kind of like, I want to hear the music, but I kind of wish I didn't have to acknowledge your involvement in the music, if that makes any sense. All right, so I was asked about IU's return and Super M's upcoming debut. I talked briefly about Super M in the beginning. Well, not in the beginning, but when I was talking about G-Idol, I talked about Super M. I'm still buying it. I'm still excited for it. You know, I like Taemin. I'm just gonna be really honest about my feelings. I like the other people in Super M just fine. Taemin is my dude when it comes to Super M, and I am here to buy for Taemin. But I hope the music is good. I hope the music is good. So, you know, if the music is good, then I hope that they all enjoy the fruits of their labor. But I'm here for Taemin. Literally, I'm here for Taemin. IU's comeback, an IU comeback is always a good time. Facts. So anything she has put out there should be great. We had a little issues with, I believe it was her 25 album, the one that had the story of the little boy climbing the tree. That was a rough period in IU's catalog.
What? Little boy climbing the tree?
Yeah, if you type in like IU and then the word like little boy tree, I think things will come up. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's been a long time and some of the details are blurry in my mind. It's the Chatshire album. Thank you. Anyway, if you go look back at the whole IU Chatshire tree stuff, there were some things about that situation that were kind of it was weird. It was weird. But people got over it. I got over it. It was an artistic choice for sure. And we've enjoyed what she has done since then. For sure. Yeah, the song was ZZ.
Oh.
Apparently somebody has gotten to the Google results.
IU's song accused of Book's child hero. That don't sound good.
See? But yeah, that whole thing with IU, that was an unfortunate period of time, but she's had comebacks since then. So it's not saying like, oh, that was the last thing and it was just so controversial. No, IU's had hits since then. Like IU, when she decides to release something, the charts stop for her. Basically, time stops. It's IU comeback. Pay attention, y'all. We'll talk about this other K-pop stuff later. But like I said, life cycles. You know, everything goes good and then something goes bad. Then everything goes good and then maybe something goes bad. But definitely this is a perfect time for her to have a comeback because she's riding off the high of Hotel de Luna. And so, yeah, milk the public for every penny they're willing to give you, girl.
Oh, well, she apologized about it.
Yeah, because she knows she's supposed to. Unlike some people, Zico, who don't apologize for anything. But yeah, she apologized for it, and people were good with it. Like I said, people don't ever talk about it anymore. So, you know, I don't even know why I'm talking about it. I guess just apprehension. I'm always apprehensive. But yeah, IU, I think she's going to do great if something bad doesn't happen. So, there you go. Yeah, Hotel de Luna was a magical K-drama. I haven't watched it, so I'm not saying in terms of like the way I saw the drama. When I say magical, I mean like the show had hit ratings. The show's OST was off the charts. People loved IU. Like the only thing that people had to shit on in terms of Hotel de Luna, and I want to hope I'm not screwing this up, but I believe Pio from Block B is in Hotel de Luna. A lot of people had really shitty things to say about Pio's acting. So there you go. Opinion on Akmu's comeback. I'm glad they're coming back. I plan to buy it. I haven't bought it just yet, but I do plan to buy it. I've always liked Akmu. I've always thought they were a really good group. I think that they are super duper talented. I think they're one of the best things to ever come out of YG, period, point blank. I've always wondered why they chose YG, because basically they could do what they're doing on their own if they wanted to, because they are amazing. However, I think that I was a little bit put off by a response that Akmu had to the question of, why are you still with YG? And the response was, they just give us money. They don't really have anything to do with what we produce. And that is a very political response. And I get that. Like, because I think that was the best response they could possibly give to that question. but also it kind of, in a way, sounds like we're removed from that. That has nothing to do with us. And yes, the scandals that YG and Sungri and other members of the label are involved with they don't have anything to do with Akmu. At the same time, if the funds that are used to fuel your comeback are also used in people hiring prostitutes, used to get investors to give money to your comeback through nefarious means, you have to acknowledge, like, that something ain't right. But I also feel like with Akmu, they're in a catch-22 because they can't speak out against the label that they're currently signed to. They don't know what the outcome is going to be of all of this case stuff, and if the Korean public's opinion turns positive towards YG, they don't want to have it on the record that they shit on their label. They don't want to shit on their label because they still have time left on their contract, and they don't want to be trapped back in the basement again. Like, they're just in a really hard place. So, like I said, I get their answer. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just feel like it's a very political answer, and it kind of feels like even if there was something bad going on, that has nothing to do with what we're doing, even though all of those funds and all of that shit is kind of commingled in the background. So that's what I want to say. But other than that, I think the song is really good. It has a super long title, so I can't really say. It's like, how do I love when love doesn't love me? Something like that. It's a really long title. Look it up. It is a really long title. But yeah, the song is good. It's one of those really heartbreaking ballads. And, Akmu, that is one thing I have to give to them. I'm not a ballad person. Akmu will write the shit out of a ballad. And it's just like, I love ballads, man. I love them so much. Because they just have it. Their voices together are magical. They're really good. They're really, really good. Hey, Stephanie, Can you do me a favor? In front of my Minho doll, can you hand that thing to me?
The light stick?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, bring the doll and the light stick, please. Bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me. I want to see them both in my hand. Bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me, bring it to me. You are walking really slow. What is happening? Bring it to me, give it to me. Bring it to me here, I want to have it in my hands. Yeah. Why are you walking so slow?
Here you go.
Thank you. So about 3 days after my last broadcast, when I told you guys that I still hadn't gotten my light stick, I got a notification from Choice Music LA that my light stick was on its way. It finally arrived. It arrived beginning of this week, I believe. And how can I love the heartbreak? You're the one I love. See, super long title. Who can remember that? This is my mini shiny light stick. I have not opened it. Because the last time I tried to open something, I screwed it up, and I didn't want to do that again. But, we're all here. Let's do this thing. Ooh, that one I didn't screw up. I'm already... it's this little tab that was on the top. It pulls out the tray that the light stick is in. Don't know if it's already charged. Oh, yeah, because it's got a little battery thing. So this one doesn't need to be charged. It has a battery casing that you pull the tab with. Let's see. You see it? It's blurry. It's blurry. Anyway, this is the front, and it's got a little button. And we're going to pull out the battery tab here. And it works! It works! It's a little mini keychain light stick. So pretty. So pretty. Oh, and it even says shiny on the top, too. You guys can't see this. There's no way I'm going to be able to make it show up on camera. See, there's absolutely no way. But on the inside, where it's got the diamond on the inside, at the top of the diamond, it says shiny, which is just like the big light stick. So that's really cool that they kept the details so consistent. It has the little silver paint around the rim. This is nice. This is really nice. This is a nice hefty keychain connector they've got on there. Definitely won't be losing that anytime soon. And you can take the keychain part off. It is detachable, so that is a nice little feature. But what makes it more special is, see this size? It's the perfect size for my Minho doll. It's the perfect size, guys. So let's go ahead and take Minho out and see him with his new light stick. What? I just tore the box again. Gosh darn it. Okay, so here is my Minho. And here's his little light stick, y'all. He's so sweet. Shiny, 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 shiny. Oh my gosh. Shiny, 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 shiny. Woo! Turn on your light stick. Replay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ah, adorable. I'm so excited. But anyway, yay! Now my little collection is complete. I've got the baby light stick. I've got a baby Minho. I'm doing good, guys. I'm doing really good. So yeah, there. That is the conclusion of my. Huh?
No, this.
Oh. Okay. You were being silly. I got you. So yeah, that's that. I'm gonna put you away. Actually, I need to put the little thing back in here so the batteries don't bleed.
Batteries can bleed.
Yes.
Do they like bleed out blood?
Nope.
How do batteries bleed?
I think they bleed out acid is what that is.
Ah, that's scary.
It is. That's why you gotta be careful. But I put the tab back in, so it should be good. So happy. Aww. Good days. It's crazy to me how expensive the mini light sticks are. They are. This mini light stick was like $25.
Ah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But I mean, the big light stick was $50, so I mean, it's less. It's half. It's about half. Also, it's cute, and I wanted it, and it goes with my doll. Leave me alone. It's what I wanted. And SM needs to start selling doll clothes. So there you go. Alright guys, so we're approaching an hour and a half, and I did almost an hour before this for the K-pop fanfiction after dark chat thing. So I'm gonna go because it is now 10:12 where I live. But thank you guys for joining me. Like I said, I'm probably gonna lose a bunch of subs because I had some spicy opinions on tonight.
They weren't that spicy.
Oh no, the soup thing.
I mean, but like locals like it.
Okay. Anyway, I had some spicy opinions, but at the same time, oh, hey Dave, you must be on the East Coast. At the same time, I've always been honest on here, so you're just going to get me authentically. That just is what it is.
And if you can't handle it, then leave, boo-boo.
Also, I wanted to talk real briefly to ask you guys to send a little love someone's way. So, I don't know how many of you know Ashley Epidemic.
No.
She is a YouTuber here in the K-pop kind of collecting community. She does collections. She used to do music video reactions, but you know, the copyright strikes. She does a lot of hauls for group orders. That's how she's kind of involved with the unboxing community. And then she does a lot of like compilation videos for groups. Anyway, Ashley did a video on her channel, which, let me see if I can find it here. The title of it, Ashley Epidemic. I forgot how to spell epidemic for a minute, you guys. It's a shame.
She's literate, though.
I am. I just did a bad job. She did a video called K-pop and My Depression. And it's currently got 45 views. So it's not a super well-known video for her channel. and it's been on her channel for 2 days now. She just did a video for X1 Goods. It's got 38 views, so obviously people don't really want to watch videos about depression. But I'd like you to go to her video anyway, and I'd like you to show her some love if you can. Don't tell her I sent you, just go show her some love. Because I know how hard it is when K-pop becomes one of the only bright spots in a very dark time. And the dark time isn't always about what's going on with your life. Sometimes the dark time is just because you're struggling with, health issues or mental health issues, or, just there's not a lot going on. So K-pop becomes that thing. And when K-pop becomes that thing, and I've done a video talking about like the kind of the obsessiveness that can come with K-pop. When K-pop becomes that thing, sometimes it leads to you not healthily consuming K-pop. It becomes a thing where you need that next video or that next performance or that whatever to make you feel like you can be happy. It gets to a point where if you're not getting interactions on your videos, you feel like nobody cares. If you're not making friends on Twitter and Instagram, you feel like nobody can see you. Like it can be a very isolating community in a lot of ways, while also making you feel like you're a part of something much bigger and something much more precious. And because of that, I just want to ask you guys to go to her video, show her some love, show her some support, as she's going through it in terms of just, dealing with K-pop. And you can tell throughout the video that she's trying very hard to communicate while also being drawn into kind of the emotional feelings behind what it is she's trying to communicate. And those things kind of competing as she's talking. But I think it's important for us to kind of give her love and let her know that she's seen. But more importantly, I think it's important for us to see her video, because I think she kind of pulls back the curtain on the way a lot of us feel and aren't really necessarily brave enough to let others in on. Because how easy is it for you to let people know that behind your happiness is a lot of sadness, that you're barely hanging on, and that this thing that you need to help you hang on is also a little bit a part of the reason why you're barely hanging on, because it can be extremely isolating. And so she doesn't say that in so many words, but I know that that's the way I felt about K-pop. I felt like the more I got into it, the more I got away from other things. And it made it feel like I didn't have anybody to talk to when regular stuff happened. So, yeah, I want to make sure that you guys go show her some love. Please do, because she's a great person. Like, she's always been super kind to me. She's always been super kind to the people that she interacts with. She's definitely, a pro for the team. So I really want to make sure that we lift her up, give her encouragement, help her get over whatever it is that's happening. Not that we're responsible for her feelings, but if we can be an aid in getting past whatever moment she's in right now, that's what we should do. My whole reason for even doing K-pop videos in the very beginning of my channel was to be a part of a community that I found to be very important, and part of community building is community outreach. So please reach out to our sister and let her know she's seen. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk with you later. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.